All right. Hello, butterflies. Happy Monday. I am Coach Risa. Welcome to Beyond Single Motherhood. Happy Single Moms Month. We are continuing the celebration. We're celebrating single moms for the month of March. And today we have Nicola Smith joining us. Hi, Nicola.
Hi.
All right. So I am Coach Risa. I am a certified dream coach for busy single moms. I'm an author and also a speaker. I am the founder and CEO of Fli LLC. Thank you guys for joining us tonight as we talk about Beyond Single Motherhood. And as I said, tonight I have Nicola Smith with me. And Nicola, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Nicola Smith. I am the founder of Our Children, Our Village. We are a nonprofit for single parents and their children located right here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. So I do that. In addition to that, I also work in higher education. So I am busy all the time.
That is awesome. Yes, and you are. Busy. So, okay, so why do you do what you do? Why did you start Our Children, Our Village?
I started the organization and I didn't know that I started it 20 plus years ago. I'm a single mom. My son is 20 years old. So take me, make me a boy, and make me 6'4", and that's my son. But I realized that there was a need for a place for single parents to come together, to network, to find support, but then also that mentality of it takes a village to raise a child. And so often single parents don't have a village. And so we want to help build that village for them. And so I saw a need. And last year, almost a year ago today, this Saturday will be a year from the date that we filed our paperwork, I launched the nonprofit.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank
That's great.
you.
That is great. So, okay, so you said you have one son, and for those that don't know you, he's your only child.
Only
Right?
child, one and only.
Okay. And so tell us about, how do you say yes to yourself? How do you say yes to you?
I say yes to me because for so long I put the needs of my son in front of everything, that was important. Where we lived, where I worked, all was what is in the best interest of him. And as he got older, I could begin to say, well, what is important to me? He was going to graduate high school. It wasn't a matter of any longer where we were going to live or what job I was going to have, because that, as he graduated, that opened up the door for me to explore new things. And all the while I was still cultivating this nonprofit and kind of starting to put the pieces together. And then I realized 2019 is the year to do it. And so we did it.
That's good. That's good. And it's funny that you say that, because that is something that, us single moms, we do a lot. We put our kids before, what our dreams are and whatever it is that we want to do. And it's okay to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do things and figure out our lives as well, so that we can be, good for them and also for ourselves, and do what God, has brought us here to do.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
yeah. And like I tell the butterflies, you are more than a single mom. There's a lot more to us.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, okay. So with starting Our Children, Our Village, almost a year ago, as you said, and with being a single mom, tell us, how do you stop the negative self-talk and the self-doubt that happens?
A lot of it is having that time every day to just get quiet, get focused, and remember what it is that I'm meant to do, and blocking out that noise. But then also it's about having my own village around me, people who are going to, pour into me, who are going to say, no, we're not going to let you run with that negative thought. So it's important to not only find that within yourself, but then also have people who, when you need to talk to and you need to vent, that are going to help you work through some of that stuff that's going on in your head. And I have a great village of people around me.
That's good. That is really good. And it is important for us to have that village, and it's so great that you started this nonprofit organization, and, you provide the resources for women, and, with what we need, and, you and I have talked, and there's certain times we talk, and like, man, if I had the stuff like what we're doing in early single motherhood, we would have been good.
All day long. And I hear that all the time. I hear, where was this organization 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? I'm like, well, 20 years ago, it was still in my womb because I hadn't birthed my son yet. And over the years, it's just, I've taken the stories that I've heard from other people and the experiences that I've had. A couple years ago, I had a group of people who met, they were single parents who met in my home every week. And that was the launch pad. It was kind of like I took what they said and said, okay, here's some common threads. Here's some common things that we all deal with regardless of how we came to be a single parent.
Yeah, and that's good. And, there are, let's say, for example, I spoke with someone the other day, and they were talking about how they kind of felt like they didn't have the village. What is something that a single mom can do to create her own village? What do you advise?
So I always talk, and that's a common question that I get of, I don't have anybody. We all have someone, but sometimes we have to reach out beyond ourselves and kind of get past our fear factor and kind of take that step. It could be your neighbor. It could be another mom that your child goes to school with. It could be someone at work who's also a single parent. And so we just kind of have to start talking to people and getting to know one another. And through that conversation, there becomes a friendship. Then you get this village. And all it takes is one person that you can really count on. And then that one person introduces you to another person. And then next thing you know, you've got 3 or 4 people that you can call upon, when the school closes and you've still got to go to work, or, you're just having a day where you're like, I just need to have an adult conversation that doesn't involve cartoons and Disney characters. And that's what we help with, is that we want to be a part of their village, but then we also want to help them strengthen the village that they have around them already.
Yeah, and that is really good tips, because sometimes we don't really think about the fact that we already have the village around us. We just have to speak up. And
Absolutely.
As single moms, we're so used to kind of doing things ourselves that we're silent on some things, and there's times when, we may need a little more help on something. And like you said, moms, take Nicola's advice. All you have to do, you speak up and just have a little conversation. You do not have to tell all your business.
Not at all. If the first time I meet you, you tell me, if I meet you at the grocery store and I just got your whole life, history in the cereal aisle, that might be kind of weird. But if you just start chatting with somebody, if you take your kids to the park and you're on the bench, just, relaxing for a minute, there's another mom sitting there, say hi. Your kids are going to play together anyway, so why don't you two talk about things, and chat about recipes and wear that cute outfit that your child was wearing, where did that come from, or who did their hair, or whatever it is. It could just be those little things that start to build a friendship that you don't have to give your whole life story on day one.
Right. So what advice would you give a single mom who, you talked about, you being pregnant with your son, and then I'm sure that you also were saying we're being pregnant in the womb with our children, our village, and so with starting that, what advice would you give a single mom who may feel like she's too busy to start something?
Oh man. We're, as single moms, we're just busy all the time already. We're balancing work, we're balancing the kids. after school, activities, the house. There's always just, even if you spend 15 minutes a day, whether it's reading a book, reading a blog, reading an article somewhere about personal development or the thing that's going to start your business, that's going to launch, that 15 minutes adds up. And we spend more than 15 minutes a day on things that serve us no purpose. How much time do we spend surfing social media or watching YouTube that doesn't serve us a purpose? Spend that time on you, on your kids, on your vision and your goals. And the next thing you know, you're going to walk into your vision for your life, and it didn't take away from your kids.
Yep. And you're right, because, I was just telling my daughter earlier today that I need to catch up on some shows.
There we go. Right.
And the thing is, we're with the thing going on with the coronavirus and going to the grocery store and making sure you're prepared. And, we might end up having a shutdown and all this stuff. So, and then school is out, and it's just a lot going on. So you're right. If we take the time to kind of like, instead of doing something, let's say watching the shows, do a little something with what you're trying to do with your business. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a business. It can be the dream of moving up in the company that you're already in,
Oh, absolutely. At one point I worked full-time. I was in school full-time. I was the chauffeur, so to speak, to my son, who had a full social calendar. And yet I still managed to keep my grades up and begin to build on what I have now. And I learned years ago the 9 to 9 method, 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Do all the things that you need to do for yourself, for your children, for your vision. And after 9 p.m., that's when you watch your shows. That's when you surf the internet. That's when you find out who the latest bachelor is or bachelorette, because after 9 o'clock, business has shut down. So who do you have to talk to at that point? Now you can watch TV. Now you can be on Facebook and social media until you go to bed. But from 9 in the morning till 9 at night, those 12 hours are the most impactful hours. And really, if you get up earlier, what if you got up a half an hour earlier before the kids got up? How much could you get done in 30 minutes or an hour when the kids are still sleeping?
Right.
Because mommy, I want starts from the moment they open their eyes.
Tell me about it. And mommy, I want does not stop at 16.
From the time they wake up to the time they go to bed.
Yeah, and that is good. I've never heard of the 9 to 9 method. That is really good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out some days when I can implement that myself.
There we go. So all your business happens. You start making phone calls to people at 9 o'clock. If I called you at 7 in the morning to talk about, hey girl, did you watch The Bachelor last night? You're gonna look at me like, why are you calling me at 7 a.m.? It is too early.
Right. Yeah. And I see people that are on the phone really early on the way to work, like 6 something in the morning. I'm like, I don't get it, but okay.
If you roll over and the first thing you do is check your Facebook messages or who liked your latest photo on Instagram, you might want to put the phone down early in the morning.
Right. Yeah. And, start your day with your dream, doing something to build your dream. Or also, I talk about this thing called the pulse check. Check your pulse in the morning, or check your pulse, at night, wherever you get a moment, while the kids are eating dinner, while they're, in the bathroom brushing their teeth or whatever, depending upon how old your kids are, just take a minute and check your pulse. And I found that in order for me to check my pulse, I have to not just sit still, but I have to quiet my mind. Like I have to shut it off and
absolutely
stop thinking, and so that is a good thing that I found as well. And I'm definitely going to try the 9 to 9.
There we go.
Day, but I'm going to do it a little bit.
Even if you did it one day a week to say, I'm not going to do any social media from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Whether you put it on Do Not Disturb, you put the phone in the other room, put it in the drawer at work, you'll find that you'll be so much more productive because your focus is on something else. And I always tell people, get up earlier in the morning and just have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and just have that quiet time, whatever that means to you, whether it's prayer, meditation, reading quietly, or just looking out the window and let the sun rise, you know, as you see it coming up, just to have that you time. You time as a single parent is so incredibly important, because if you give yourself 20 minutes a day to just breathe, the rest of the 23 hours and some change you can give to whoever or whatever and not feel burned out.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of burnout, that leads me to the next thing. What are some words of encouragement that you can give a single mom, especially in the time that we're in right now with the coronavirus? We have, you know, the kids are out of school, and it not only do we already have the responsibility of the household and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
now we have to go into preparation mode for the what if. You know, what if we do have a shutdown, you know, and it's
Right.
already starting, you know, it's starting slowly. So I know there's moms out there that, you know, need a little something. So what are some words of encouragement that you can give them?
Oh, goodness. So one, take time for you. You can only be as good for your kids, for your family, for your job, if you take time for you first. You have to be the priority. If I am burned out from the moment I wake up every morning till the time I go to bed, I'm not giving my best. Second thing I would say is probably stay surrounded by people that are going to uplift and encourage you. I don't know if anybody can see, there's so much going on around me. You know, put positive affirmations up, put things that are going to inspire you. Earlier this year, we did a vision board party, and we taught people how to put their dreams on a canvas so that they could have it year round and start to really look at it. There have been studies that what you look at, your brain starts to develop a mechanism in which what they see, they want to achieve. So if you are surrounded by negative things, you got to replace those negative things with positive things and let your mind go to work on creating pathways to get to those positive things. And I think the other thing would be is know when you need to talk to somebody.
That's
Know
it.
when, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we all talk about the, you know, mental health. And mental health for single moms is so incredibly important. There is no shame in picking up the phone and calling your mother, your sister, one of your girlfriends, you know, your spiritual leader, and just saying, you know, I just need to have a cup of coffee, and I just need to chat. I just need to, you know, kind of get some things off, you know, out of my head. Can we do that?
And that's good. That's good. That me time is definitely necessary. And, you know, we have to say yes to ourselves, which is what we talked about earlier. That
Yep.
is really good. So tell us, what's a fun fact about Nicola that doesn't involve your son?
Oh, goodness. So many years ago, I had a friend who was taking salsa lessons. And I went, and I thought it was really fun to watch. And there was a class coming up the very next day. And I was like, I'm going to go do this. So I actually learned how to salsa dance. And what's great about that is it doesn't involve your kids, because you have to remember really 6 things: 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And those are the steps. So in those steps, you're not somebody's mom, you're not somebody's girlfriend, you're not a wife, you're not a coworker, you're not an employee. That's all you have to focus on. And it is a great workout. It's a great stress reliever, and it's all about you and your dance partner. So I don't get to do it as often anymore. I haven't been on the dance floor in quite some time, but that's a little known fact. So you might
That's
catch me
cool.
swirling around.
Okay, so look now, next time when we're somewhere and I hear some salsa music, you're gonna have to show me a little something.
I got you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So tell us, how can the butterflies follow you on social media?
So you can follow me personally on Facebook. I am Nicola Smith. You can also follow our organization. We have a Facebook page, Our Children, Our Village. And on Instagram, I am the #1 Nicola Smith.
All right, all right. And that is great. And thank you for joining me to celebrate Single Moms Month. And, thanks for sharing the wisdom that you have. And we'll definitely be talking again on another, doing another Beyond Single Motherhood chat. And
Definitely.
let's see, do we have anything else? That's really all that we have for tonight. Thanks for joining.